I thought our team battled. I mean, obviously, we hit a stretch there, both teams, for a long stretch where neither team could hit a shot, and it was just a matter of who was going to get going, and unfortunately for us, it was WashU. But I'm really proud of this team. All year, we've been in really tough situations like this, and we haven't actually ever once given up or not really tried to work hard to stay in the game and when things aren't going our way. I mean, you all have watched enough sports. It's really tough when you don't make shots. I mean, it's kind of it. Then your defense is affected, your rebounding is affected, and it's mentally just very tough to overcome. And I felt like we hung in there really well and continued to battle defensively. And then they hit a few shots, and that was the difference in the game for us. But I'm proud of this team, and we had a great season, and we have nothing to feel bad about.
Coach, how hard is it to be down, double figures so early in the contest to try to come back?
Yeah, it's really tough, especially against a really good team. That's a challenge. But, we did our homework. We knew that WashU was a fast-starting team. They outscored their opponents by, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's quite a bit in the first quarter. So we knew they were going to come out fast, so we knew we had to kind of weather that early storm. And then if we could hang in there and keep it close, we knew that the rest of the game would kind of be back and forth. So I was really proud of how we came back in the first half and made it a 5-point game at halftime, and we were feeling pretty good about it at that point, and things just didn't fall our way.
Abby, congrats on the 1,000 points. Can you talk about the three-pointer that was hit going into half, how big momentum change that was for your team?
That was a huge shot, cut it down from 8 to 5, and going in only down 5 is a huge difference for us. Seems a lot more realistic to come back from than maybe an 8-point lead, and it just gets some momentum and making shots going into the half, so we have a lot more energy and intensity going into the half.
Lisa, can you talk about the second chance points? You guys dominated on the offensive glass and kept you in the ball game almost the entire time.
Rebounding, I'll preach it as much as I can. It was keeps teams in games. It's the heart of the game. You have to go hard after every rebound. I think we did that tonight and got a lot of second opportunities for Jaya and Abby and Riley on the three-point line, and they knocked down some big shots because of the rebounds.
Carrie, you mentioned the rebounding, you mentioned the shooting, but
Yeah.
the turnovers as well.
Yeah.
And in particular, number 12, Beeling, she had 6 steals tonight.
She's tough. I mean, she's smart. She's got a nose for the ball. She anticipates so well, and a lot of those steals she got were against some very young players that we had on the floor, so it's a great lesson for them to learn, that when you get in games like this that you have to be able to handle that pressure and handle it for 40 minutes. And with youth comes mental breakdowns, and we had a couple of those. But the thing that I always look for in our players is to make sure that when those types of situations happen that we don't let it affect the next play or the next play, and it didn't. And that's what I was really proud of, is that they continued to not let it kind of snowball, and we battled. I mean, we battled all the way until probably that run that they made in the fourth quarter, and but that's what great players do. I mean, she's a great player, and she creates a lot of things for her team with her ability to get those steals.
Carrie, you've had a great group of seniors
Mm-hmm.
that finished up here tonight. They've been to Final Fours, conference championships. Want to just make a comment about the 5 that you had?
Yeah, I've kind of talked about this before, is that they're a unique group because we've had a couple transfers that joined us, a couple of years ago. But, with Lisa and Abby and Emily Jensen being with us all 4 years and having the opportunity to play in 3 NCAA tournaments, and then their first 2 years getting to go to the Final Four, and, just special things, great memories. I mean, even this year, we went on a really fun trip to Puerto Rico. I mean, just all of those things that that they'll talk about for the rest of their lives. And
I have a great deal of respect for the coaching staff. So I knew it was going to be a tough game. I thought their inside game was so powerful and well-balanced, and I'm just really happy how our kids played defense and executed down the stretch.
KB, 6 steals, you limit number 20 to 0 points after scoring 23 the night before. Can you just talk about the defensive effort by the Bears tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a team effort. I think we know that defense is what we can control every night coming out. If we're not having a good shooting game, then defense is where we hang our hat. So, I mean, definitely a team effort. We were all really just keyed in, and yeah, I don't know. It's good.
After seeing her score that many points last night, was that one of the plans to shut her down tonight?
I mean, it was. She was a key stop, but we knew they kind of had an even scoring across the board for the season. So we knew any one of them could really come out and have a really good game. So, I mean, she was definitely a focus, but they kind of all were. It wasn't really.
Nancy, another a quick start by your team again. You played another great first quarter and got a lead. Talk about how important that is.
Well, I think every team comes out wanting to start fast. I mean, I don't think I think the focus, what we were trying to do, and I keep going back to this, is you have a game plan, and whether it's executed or not, and I just felt like that was the key, is like we were talking about, everybody wants to win. This is not like you walk in the locker room and go, hey, who wants to win? But it's the actual, okay, you got to focus in on what that means, what you have to do. And I think that's what was the key for us to starting that way. And then as the game progresses, if you don't think at this time and place there's not going to be runs in games, you're not in the postseason, and that's what you got to withstand.
You're probably talking about the end of the third quarter, Whitewater makes a 5-point game. What was the talk?
Well, actually, at halftime when they hit that three, I mean, you could really, there's that momentum, and that's exactly what we talked about. I said, it was kind of like we're in the lead, and it's not so much, okay, what happened to cause those switches. Sometimes people make plays, and then other times you have to counter by going back to what you do defensively, and I think that's what we try to refocus.
Jen, in the second half, I thought you had a great second half, and defensively, you guys 11-0 points off turnovers, limiting them to 5 field goals the whole second half. So talk a little bit about what Katie Beth was discussing about the defensive play in the second half.
Again, that's kind of something we hang our hats on. We pride ourselves on our defense, and we know on any given night if we can shut down a team and they score less than us, we're going to win the game. So I think everybody was just really keyed in, and it's like a domino effect, like Coach says. If one person gets a stop here, or if one person doesn't, the next person has to rotate and help, and it's just a continual effect, and you have to keep relying on your teammates that they're going to be there, and I think it was a solid team defensive effort.
Yeah, and you missed so many games the second half of the season. How excited are you to be able to contribute and help this team make a run in the NCAA tournament?
I am very excited. It was definitely a goal. The first day I walked into WashU, I knew about the tradition, and I grew up here, and so it's really fun to actually be playing for WashU and being on the floor doing the things that I watched them do as I grew up as a kid. And being out, I just couldn't handle it, so I told Jim, I was like, I need to be playing, and they taped me up, and so here I am.
Coach, moving forward, you get to see your friends from Carnegie Mellon for a third time.
Well, what a great statement for the UAA. I think that, as people are, it's a game, next game, we got to play. And that's how we're going to approach it. I think Rochester's in it also, so 3 out of the 16, I think that's a good reflection, and obviously both teams are going to know each other very well, but I look at it as the Sweet 16 game, and we're playing Carnegie Mellon.
Katie Beth, talk about how does UA prepare you for this, for what's going on right now against these really tough physical games?
Well, I mean, we talked about before the game tonight how physical Whitewater was, and how, we could compare them to Brandeis in our conference, a really physical team. So I think just every game in the UAA is a battle, and you never know, how it's going to go. Anyone can beat anyone in the UAA, so I think we're just pretty well prepared for tough competition, for games that go down to the line, and pulled one out tonight. So.
And Jen, speaking of physicality, Wisconsin-Whitewater was able to grab 11 offensive boards in the first half and then just 5 in the second half. Can you talk about how important that is to try and limit those second opportunities?
You definitely have to match their physicality, but do it with a smart head, and that's something I've learned over the course of the season. But you definitely have to. You just have to be responsible for your kid. So as long as your kid doesn't get the rebound and you can rely on your teammates thinking the same thing, then you guys are going to have those boards. And at the end of the day, if it bounces on the floor and you can go get it, then that's kind of what you want. So you just have to be smart and match their physicality.